Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to tackle a medium-level problem on LeetCode. It's called Maximum Total Subarray Value I. This problem is all about finding the maximum total value that can be achieved by choosing a subarray and repeating it k times. Sounds interesting, right? So let's dive into it. So the problem statement is asking us to find the maximum total value that can be achieved by choosing a subarray from a given array of integers and repeating it k times. The total value of a subarray is calculated by subtracting the minimum element from the maximum element in the subarray and then multiplying the result by k. We need to find the subarray that gives us the maximum total value. The intuition behind this problem is that we need to find the subarray with the maximum difference between its maximum and minimum elements. Think of it like this. Imagine you're trying to maximize the area of a rectangle. You would want the height to be as large as possible and the base to be as small as possible. Right? Similarly, in this problem, we want to maximize the difference between the maximum and minimum elements in the subarray. This is because the total value is calculated by subtracting the minimum element from the maximum element and then multiplying by k. So, the larger the difference, the larger the total value will be. Now, let's think about how we can solve this problem. We can start by iterating over all possible subarrays in the given array. For each subarray, we can calculate its maximum and minimum elements. Then, we can calculate the total value of the subarray by subtracting the minimum element from the maximum element and multiplying by k. We keep track of the maximum total value we've seen so far and update it whenever we find a subarray with a larger total value. Let's take a look at the C++ code that solves this problem. We start by initializing the result as 0. Then, we iterate over all possible subarrays using two nested loops. For each subarray, we calculate its maximum and minimum elements using the max and min functions. We then calculate the total value of the subarray by subtracting the minimum element from the maximum element and multiplying by k. We update the result with the maximum value that can be achieved by choosing the current subarray k times. We use the max function to update the result. The code looks like this. We have a for loop that iterates over the array. And for each element, we have another for loop that iterates over the remaining elements in the array. Inside the inner loop, we calculate the maximum and minimum elements of the current subarray and update the result accordingly. Now, let's talk about the time and space complexity of this solution. The time complexity is O(n squared), because we're using two nested loops to iterate over all possible subarrays. The space complexity is O(1), because we're using a constant amount of space to store the result and the maximum and minimum elements of the current subarray. And that's it. That's the solution to the maximum total subarray value I problem on LeetCode. I hope you guys found this explanation helpful. If you have any questions or you'd like to share your own approach to this problem, please leave a comment below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and comment your approach below.